So that's the price. We all know about that. Now, this is my big idea, and this is the subject I'm going to be writing my next book on. This is about human redundancy. I'll just go back a little bit. Okay, so you've got the loafers drinking beer, and then you've got the robots making cars on the right. I think I prefer to be the loafers drinking beer, certainly any day over robots. But the point is that we are being eaten alive by software, as someone has said. The world is being taken over by machines. The singularity, which I've spoken about, sometime, according to Ray Kurzweil, out in 2040, will mean that machine intelligence will surpass human intelligence. At the moment, machines are used to do routine functions that can't be performed by the superior human being. But it's going to happen very quickly. Very soon, non-routine functions will be done by machines. And it's going to make most of the world redundant. Most of the world will be redundant. And it's not going to be a problem, funny enough, in my opinion, for we in the West, except that the few people who work will be paying ever-increasing taxes to pay for those who do not work or don't do proper jobs. It's going to be a real problem in the emerging markets. Because hitherto, the story in emerging markets has been moving from the country to urban areas, moving from the farm to working in factories, providing cheap labor. That movement is coming to an end because machines at almost any level can do the job better than human beings. So Foxconn, the world's biggest employer in the private sector, makes all those Apple gizmos, employs, I think, 6.5 million people in China, is replacing them with machines. And indeed, it's starting to make the machines. The robots cost $25,000 US. The worker costs $7,000. The worker requires health insurance, moans about terms and conditions, needs to go to sleep, has to eat. The robot works 24 hours a day without any complaint, making no mistakes, and doesn't take any holidays. All right, so which one would you prefer? Well, obviously, you're going to go for the robot, and that's what people are doing. So the manufacturing side is already being populated by machines, and people are being squeezed out. So what happens to all those people who were working in factories? Surely they can go and become hairdressers, or fund managers, or presenters, or writers of books, or something like that. Well, there isn't enough room for all those people to be hairdressers and masseuses and tourist reps and so forth. And so more and more people are permanently going to be out of work. This youth unemployment is not just because of the economic crisis. It's because people don't need people to work in companies anymore. The labor force participation rate in the United States is falling every year because there isn't the room for these people. So the effect of that is that the few people, the few corporations that make money are going to be taxed more and more and more to pay for those who are basically doing nothing or doing non-jobs. It's a fact. We are going to be increasingly taxed. There are some ways in which Britain might escape that by improving skills, by flattening the rate of taxation, but generally, the Western world has had it. The developing world is in a worse situation, though. In Nigeria, there are 70 million youths who are unemployed. There are 280 million people in the whole of Africa who don't have a job at the moment, and that's going to rise to 400 million. These numbers are absolutely staggering, and there is no obvious way in which they're going to find jobs. There's not enough for them to do in a world of additive manufacturing, 3D printing, nano manufacturing, in which almost every single function that is performed by humans can be done by a machine. Take as an example driverless cars, all right? Seems like a fantasy. 4 years ago, I told you about fracking. You all know what fracking's done. I'm telling you that driverless cars will be here within 10 to 15 years. They will be very safe, much safer than us driving ourselves around, and they will be ubiquitous. We will not, therefore, need car insurance. We won't need chauffeurs. We won't need bus drivers. We won't need taxi drivers. All of that is change on a machine-led way. You've also got agribots working in agriculture. They can reduce the consumption of fertilizers by 80%. You've got robots working in schools now, believe it or not, teaching English to Japanese and Korean kids. You're going to have service robots in the home. The old people who are currently cared for by carers will be looked after by their friendly robot. It's all going to happen. There are robot prison guards in Korea, okay? Almost everything that we do will be done by machine, therefore leading to wide-scale redundancy. Now, this is a theme I'm just developing, and as I said, I am going to write a book about it, and I think it will have some investment consequences for all of us in the next 10 or 20 years.